Hey everybody! Welcome to the second of our nerd video series on kind of recording gear stuff. So today I figured we'd talk about keyboards and electric pianos. So I don't really know how to play, and Sarah's holding the camera, and so you'll have to suffer through my playing, but we'll start right over here. Okay, so our first keyboard is actually one we don't actually use a lot in the studio, but on the road this is what Sarah uses for piano. So it's a Korg S V1. It's probably the closest thing you can get to a kind of vintage electric keyboard without actually bringing one. But most of the time you don't really want to bring a Wurlitzer on the road with you because they're pretty finicky on the inside, and you don't want to be like filing down one of the things while you're on the road to try to tune it properly. So we bring the SV1. It has a really great Wurlitzer sound. It's really clean, so it definitely doesn't take the place of a real Wurlitzer, but it does a pretty good job. Has a great road sound, and then you can like download piano sounds and stuff, so there's pretty good piano sounds in it. So, but anyway, that's the boring one out of the way. Now let's go on to a cool one. This is a Juno 106, which is a legit synthesizer. This is from 1983. And the funny part about Junos is, like, 20 years ago you couldn't give these things away. They were, you know, nobody wanted them. Our bass player Tony had said he sold one on Craigslist for 50 bucks and is now just like, ugh. But anyway, what happened was a program called Stranger Things came along, and they made all the music on a Juno 106 and a Juno 60, I believe, and now all of a sudden these things are like super sought after. And we got this one from our friend Eric Coiner, Renaissance man and patron of the arts, as we like to call him. This has been in his closet for like 15 years, and it wasn't really working. And so he let the studio have it. He's like, if you guys want to fix it and figure out a way to fix it, you guys can have it. And so we found a dude in Chicago that specifically works on vintage synthesizers from the 80s. So he swapped out all the a bunch of the cart, like, I don't know, it's like, it's very like early electronics, so it's like these weird bizarre looking circuit boards. So he swapped out a bunch of the circuit boards and swapped out all the buttons and a couple other things that I can't exactly recall. It was kind of jargon when he was talking, but anyway, now it works beautifully. So, but it's like a classic synthesizer, so you start with a sine wave and go from there, so it makes a very 80s like very cool sounds. You know, it's totally kind of customizable. You know, you can, yeah, it's too low. Very Blade Runner-y, if you guys know that soundtrack. I love it. It's super fun to play around with. And the only thing that's kind of different about this one is when the quarantine started, I actually I shellacked some new kind of custom wood sides for it. I put some like bird's eye maple wood sides on it because I was bored, because there's nothing to do. But anyway, that's the Juno 106. It's super fun. It's very retro 80s. It's a lot of, we're still kind of playing around with it because it's kind of a new toy for us, but we love it. It's so much fun. Next would be a classic Wurlitzer 200A. This particular model was a 206A with the speaker and the bass, but it had it was converted to a proper, like a 200A. This is kind of the classic Wurlitzer sound. So this is from the early 70s, and it just gives you that kind of classic growl, you know. So, a little more gritty than your typical electric keyboard. You can get a lot of kind of growl and grit out of it. It's so much fun. We use this most of the time when we're trying to get that kind of classic Wurlitzer sound. This has been on every single Well Penny song, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Just about every single Well Penny song. It's like the glue that holds everything. Sonically, it's just so rich. It kind of fills in a lot of blank spaces sonically. But anyway, we love that one. This thing is another awesome Wurlitzer. This is actually a Wurlitzer 140, not a 140B, which is kind of the more popular one. This is actually the precursor to that. This is the 140 that I found in Oskaloosa, Iowa, in the middle of nowhere. My favorite thing to do, as I think I mentioned in other videos, is to troll Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist for like vintage gear and stuff. And Iowa is like a treasure trove of amazing vintage gear. And this had been in somebody's attic for 50, 60 years. And it was really gnarly when we got it. There was like bugs in it, super gross. It was like covered in some sort of grime. But it was kind of like a summer project last year of cleaning it all up. And we had the folks over at the Chicago Electric Piano Company totally adjust all the action and clean up the insides and make it play really nice. And so this one is a similar kind of sound, but it's a lot more kind of chimey. So you can almost hear the tines in there. It's really kind of fun. It's a really great texture to add on records too. And then actually the same time I did the sides on the Juno, I actually put these cool side, this is like African mahogany sides on it because I just thought it looked cool. Make it a little fancy. Really dig it. The
battery's dying.
Is the battery dying? Oh, okay. I will probably get through it. Okay, so anyway, those are the Wurlitzers. Both of those were bought here in Iowa because it's just, people just have cool gear here in Iowa. Brings us to this fun little toy. Speaking of Eric Coiner, we're actually babysitting this for him while his kids go through school. He gets all that kid stuff out of his system, then he'll be able to pick up organ again. This is a classic Hammond A100. Which is actually, there's three organs that are like kind of all the same. So the classic Hammond B3, the C3, and the A100 are actually all the exact same organ. On the inside, they're all the exact same organ. The only thing that's different is the outside on like the box that it's housed in. And so this is actually an A100 that has been chopped. So basically, they take all the insides of the organ and they shove them all into like a road case so that you can bring it on the road with you. So Eric actually toured with the band Orchestra for years, and this is the organ that they would haul around on tour. And man, hats off to you guys, because this thing is like 300 pounds. It is a beast. And the cool part about the A100, it was the only one of the three kind of classic Hammonds that had a built-in spring reverb. So it's got a reverb tank in there, which is really fun too. So, and these things, if you've never seen one run, it's almost like starting an old car. So it's got like two knobs, and so you start the engine, as I say. And once it gets up and running, if you can hear that, then you flip this one on, and then now the organ's on. And then that plugs into this amazing machine over here. This is a Leslie cabinet, which is, a lot of people have heard the sound of a Leslie, but they don't always know what actually makes that sound. So it's actually a spinning speaker. So if you were to play like that same chord on that keyboard, and then you flip on the tremolo while you do it, so I got a little switch down here. So here, I'll hit show the speaker, so we'll go like that, and then we'll click the tremolo. And then you can kind of get that classic church organ sound, like. It's really fun. It's such a fun little texture. We throw it on recordings all the time. It's one of those like textures that's always in the background. It's like fills out sound really nicely. So anyway, those are our kind of studio toys in the keyboard electric piano department. And was there anything I missed? We've got an accordion there. That's not really a keyboard. We've got a toy piano, which finds its way on a lot of records too. What else do we got? Or is that it?
Well, we could do the acoustic pianos later.
Oh yeah, we have the acoustic pianos upstairs. So we have like a Yamaha U3 and an old Spinet from the 50s, which sounds
40s.
great. 40s, exactly. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, those are our electric pianos. Did I leave anything out?
I don't know.
Nerd-wise, if you have any questions, as always, put it in the comments, and the 6 of you that are interested in this video, I will respond to all 6 of you, I promise. Alright, see you until next time. We'll do like guitars and stuff and drums next time. We'll see. Alright, bye-bye.